Hey guys, we're back for game one of Vici Gaming versus Mineski. We are about to hop into the draft, and I am pretty excited to get started. We already have some bans going. Mineski's going to start off with a Lone Druid ban, and Vici Gaming going with a Lifestealer.
Yep, and that's pretty standard bans. I like that team Mineski has banned out the Lone Druid. Sorry, I just have to do that because that was for Icerock's benefit. Apparently, he hated Merlini saying mith.trust so much that he messaged him on Skype.
Wow, I really don't blame him. It was grinding my gears as well. And it's now time for Team Vici Gaming to take their second ban, and they're going to go for Magnus here. So pretty standard tier 1 bans. A little
And there's a
surprising to
Batrider.
see. Yeah, Batrider's in the pool.
So I expect the Batrider pick up right away, and then Team Vici Gaming will pick up a Shadow Demon right away to go against that. I expect them to also pick up... I like Clockwork for them a lot here.
You could just, I mean, do you want to solo cast this? You apparently know everything that's going to be happening here. It's pretty uncanny. Gyrocopter is going to be their carry though, so...
Oh, I like that too, actually. That's pretty smart. VG, I think they're the team that's probably adapted one of the best in terms of their picks. I really think that Gyro and Wisp are in general very undervalued by Chinese, but obviously this is a first 2 pickup of Gyro. And he's actually quite good against Batrider just because the Batrider can't really jump the Gyro because there's always going to be a Shadow Demon disruption on him. And when you jump onto a Gyro's teammate, he can always get his allies, he can always get the full flat cannon off. If the Batrider's close, then Rocket Barrage does a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, it really is a lot of magical damage for the skill points, and he can also tri-lane very easily, and even team fights are fantastic. His cooldown is such a low cooldown, only 70 seconds, or I'm sorry, 55 seconds at level 1, and it does a total of 350 damage. So Gyrocopter pretty strong at all stages of the game.
Even more than that, Batriders often run as an offlane in the, should I say Chinese Dota scene, Eastern scene? Eastern scene, I guess.
Yeah.
Eastern scene, and Gyro is one of the best 2v1 carry heroes, I think.
Do you mean as a carry plus support versus an offlane?
As a carry plus a support versus offlane, Shadowing gets the disrupt off. He doesn't even need Soul Catcher. Rocket Barrage does 330 damage at level 1. He melts. Yeah,
that is a really good point. And that's actually pretty uncommon because normally with a Shadow Demon with another carry, the other carry doesn't have enough damage output. Shadow Demon actually lacks in damage output himself, but Gyrocopter more than makes up for it. And like you said, with Soul Catcher, you can boost that damage by a pretty large percentage as well. So. And
Leshrac and Rubik are picked up by Mineski here, which... What do you think about that?
Well, it's going to start them off with a really great tri-lane, obviously. A Rubik's going to lift with Telekinesis. They'll follow it up with a Leshrac Split Earth. And they can even use Diabolic Edict on top of that, or maybe even Lightning if they decide to go for that build. So I like this a lot just for the fact that it leaves their carry picks open. They can go aggressive if they want to, put the Batrider mid, or they can do it safe lane and just have a really, really strong tri-lane against pretty much any kind of hero as long as they have invis detection. So
yeah, I really like that. And something else that these 2 supports allows you to do is that if you were to say aggressive tri-lane because you want to shut down the Gyro and put a Batrider in short lane, it's very easy for either the support to sort of grab an early TP to that their short lane tier 1, wrap around the enemy's long lane, secure a kill there.
Yeah, especially because people don't expect it. You say, okay, I've got a one-on-one matchup, this is going to be easy, and then one little misstep, then get out of position, and
it's one of the reasons that Lifestealer is so strong in the short lane solo. Even if he's not winning early, it's so easy for him to shut out that rotation. And sorry, I stuttered because Visage is the best hero ever, and they picked him, and I'm so happy.
Rod of Atos, hopefully, fingers crossed.
You mean Roa, because Merlini's here.
Or
ROA.
ROA. Why are we not calling it Roa? Roa sounds so much better than Ra.
Yeah, so Vici Gaming picks up Visage here. Good pickup.
That should be pretty good. Another great tri-lane hero. They could put him with the Gyrocopter and the Shadow Demon.
More than anything, I don't think Team Mineski can tri-lane aggressively anymore. And when you have a Batrider, one of the, I think the strongest things that you can do is that you can get that aggressive tri-lane even if you sort of break even, or just as long as you shut down the carry's farm, the Batrider is going to absolutely stomp the long lane hero, almost everyone. I'd say. The only exceptions are like Darkseer, maybe Weaver.
Yeah, somebody that can get away unhindered.
And they have 3 bans to sort of counter those heroes out.
So they're going to get rid of all the heroes that do counter Batrider in some way. We have one more ban from Vici Gaming and one more from Mineski here. We are still missing the carry from Mineski, which is why we're seeing a lot of carry bans out of Vici with a Juggernaut as well as a Luna. So a lot of heroes that have early aggression potential, especially Luna when she hits level 6. Last hero, we've seen some Anti-Mage, and they're actually going to go with an Alchemist. So Alchemist and Anti-Mage seen a lot of play, but Anti-Mage is going to get through. That may be the pick out of Mineski here.
And I really like that Alchemist banner, because what the Alchemist lets VC Gaming do is they could actually solo the Gyrocopter somewhere and do an Alchemist Shadow Demon Visage Aggressive Try, which is really, really strong. And a TA pickup, which is, I don't think I've seen TA yet.
I'm trying to remember the last time I saw him. It seems like she does get drafted sometimes in the mid lane, but is not the most common mid currently. But she does get grabbed for Mineski, so that'll be the solo mid. We still don't have a for sure mid on Vici, but if things go really weird, they could even put Gyrocopter there with a Sentry Ward. That's a counter that's used sometimes, but more anticipating that into a tri lane, I guess.
That's pretty good. I guess that's why they banned out the Queen of Pain as well. I thought that the Queen of Pain ban out was because there's a possibility of putting a Batrider mid, and Queen of Pain actually does very well versus Batrider. Versus Batrider's Queen of Pain, as long as you don't buy a lot of regen, you just want like a wand and maybe one tango, because you don't really need regen against a Batrider. You can actually stomp a bat pretty hard as Queen of Pain.
Would you actually completely skip a tango? Or like you're advocating just a magic wand and ironwood branches?
I like to get one tango just because it allows you to go up Shadow Shaker and trade hits a bit.
Okay.
If you don't have that tango, then creeps do a lot of damage. Queen of has like 1 base armor, 2. I think it's 1.
It's pretty low, yeah. Oh, and they do actually go for a Chaos Knight, so this might actually be a Gyrocopter mid. Chaos Knight Visage Shadow Demon Tri-Lane has a little more offensive potential for hard stuns, a little bit less nuke potential. And like we said, Gyrocopter is pretty good against TA. It's also decent against Batrider as well, because if Batrider does dive on Gyrocopter, you can cast Rocket Barrage without turning around, which is a huge advantage because of the sticky napalm turn radius. And a Drow Ranger. Wow, she has been ported into CM mode, but has she even been picked in any pro games yet?
EG ran her a couple times, I know. Drow Ranger is actually a pretty strong hero, in my opinion. Oh, she got picked in that one game where they had Shadow Fiend as well, but she was like dueling with Visage Ball. She didn't really do anything that game.
Huh.
Don't know if you saw that one. That was in the Eastern qualifiers.
And she has actually been nerfed recently. Her marksmanship, her passive, and now does get disabled if an enemy hero is within 375 AoE. So against melee heroes, she can have some trouble, but if she does stay from range, it's a huge agility bonus, 40 bonus agility. And if you look at their heroes, they have 5 heroes, which means that this passive of Precision Aura is going to give bonus to every single one of them.
That's going to be pretty ridiculous, actually. I was sort of like, when I first saw it, I was hesitant because CK is actually one of the best anti-Drow Ranger heroes.
Yeah.
Drow Ranger does single target, and you can get right up close to her in order to disable that ultimate from Drow. But man, 5 range shields with Drow Aura, it doesn't even matter that like they have only last track for push. Really, this can be a push team. If they get early levels, they can take all the towers.
Yeah, they really
can.
can.
And a Wisp.
Just right click. So Wisp, Chaos Knight most likely. Man, their lanes are all over the place. I mean, how many times have we backed up on our tri-lanes, or what we thought the tri-lanes were going to be at least? Let's take a look at the players quick. For the Radiant Team Mineski, we've got Razor on the Rubik. I'm sorry, excuse me. I was playing Rubik. We've got JVN playing the Templar Assassin. Jay is on the Batrider. We've got Yanni on the Drow.
Is that solo mid Shadow Demon?
Fat Dog playing the Leshrac. Man, it is hard to read these names.
They have a solo mid Shadow Demon.
I was hoping for something like that because I counted so many support heroes, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And we haven't seen mid Shadow Demon in a long time, just generally because Shadow Demon is such a fantastic support hero. He's almost always put in tri-lanes, but he is actually one of the best mids in the game. Really, really fun to play if you guys haven't tried it.
He is a good mid. There's a sort of a period of time where he was picked as mid a lot, but then his disruption got nerfed quite a bit. It went up from 75. Cooldown increase, and it went up to 120 mana from 75 or 90. I can't really remember. I never really played him solo. And Soulcatcher got some extra mana, but he still is really good mid, and he can actually beat a TA mid if he times out his poison really well. It can break 2 refraction charges with 1 poison, gives vision. His biggest advantage, I think, against TA is that TA doesn't have that much gank potential on him, and Shadow Demon is one of the best heroes at setting up ganks.
Yeah, that's really true, because Shadow Demon is, at most cases, going to be within range of disruption of the TA, and whenever you're just ready to go, you can bring in the Wisp, or you can bring in the Visage, and just throw the disruption in, and break through the shield really quickly with Shadow Poison. Like he was saying, the 2 shield break for Shadow Poison, you can throw it and immediately break it. Now, it doesn't stack the damage then, but of course, that's 2 sources of damage. Even if it only does 20 damage a piece, breaking through that refraction as fast as possible is super important. And if you can break the shield, then TA is just any other squishy hero on the mid lane. So.
Something that I'm sort of curious about that I should probably know is whether Soul Catcher adds as an extra damage counter, because some amps do. Like
it might be. I know there's cases
like
where
Glaives seems like it wouldn't too, and it counts as 2 from Silencer on the TA, and so does stuff like AA extra damage, or I can't think, but yeah.
I know you can suicide yourself with Centaur Double Edge if your soul caught, if Soul Catcher is used on you.
Oh, is that how it works? Oh
yeah.
wow, I've seen that a few times. I've just been like cheating.
Yeah, it's obviously cheating.
Cheating Centaur.
I think I'm guessing it would be a separate damage source perhaps, but.
That would be really neat if it was. Refraction is basically just going to be burned off immediately if he can hit a Soul Catcher. It is relatively hard to hit, but it's very spammable. 50 mana for level 1.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Especially when you get a bottle, he may even go Arcane Boots or something like that for extra mana. So let's go over the players for Vici Gaming really quick. We've got Gyrocopter being played by XTT on the top lane. On the mid lane, we've got CTY playing the Shadow Demon, and going towards the bot, tri-lane, this is aggressive. ZSMJ playing Chaos Knight. We've got Fenrir playing the Visage, and FY playing the Wisp.
30 seconds.
And this is an aggressive Wisp tri-lane. That's pretty rare.
So why is this such a weird thing?
Wisp is generally seen as a really weak early game hero. I sort of think that people underrate his early game prowess, but it's definitely still not common. But if you sort of look at their heroes, they don't have that many other options. They can't. It'd be sort of weird to just like sack a Chaos Knight or sack a Vasal or sack a Gyro, or have like a Gyro support and Visage sack. Like those lanes don't really pan out that well for them. But I don't know about this Gyro versus Batrider matchup. I think that even though it's hard for Batrider to dive him just because he has Rocket Barrage, I think that he'll still have a very good time against that Gyro. And you know, I don't even know if that ward blocks. I think it does, but usually I put it like right beside the tree, like over here. So I've never actually seen that ward placed before.
Well, we'll find out in 1 second. It does block, so.
Oh, it does block.
Pretty
That's
much
good.
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not anything you have to spend too much time looking for. That was their sentry wards, by the way. They placed the other one in lane to try to protect against a lane ward. But if we check for wards on the raiding team, they've only placed 1. So it looks like they did catch that first lane observer ward. And in the meantime, actually, Visage is getting the last hits just because DSMJ has to be worried about taking extra damage. And,
something that I sort of want to criticize here is that I think that Grave Chill is a lot better than Soul Assumption at level 1. Grave Chill, it sort of negates a lot of their damage just because it's a 64% attack speed drain, which early game when they have like 10 attack speed, it's really like minus 50% of their DPS. And then you get an extra like 2 or 3 hits, so that's basically Soul Assumption damage, but it's spammable, and you can just spam it at level 1 and hit them, beat on them.
Yeah, that is true. 70 mana instead of the 170 of Soul Assumption. That's a really good point.
And Mineski has, Mineski has already wasted one of their sentries looking for a side ward from the Dar. So this tri-lane, even though it's sort of unconventional, Wisp aggressive it's just weird, straight up. It seems to be going quite well for them.
Well, if we take a look on the mid lane, in terms of last hits, we have 3 on the Shadow Demon, TA 4 now, TA up to 5 and 3, but both of the players actually very, very low on HP. On the bright side, though, TA actually has a Magic Stick picked up, as he did anticipate this matchup, so this is significant for a couple reasons. First of all, he hasn't been able to farm his bottle yet, but he's already got 6 wand charges, and that mana is actually really precious now because of the recent refraction nerf. Now costs 100 mana instead of 75, so once he gets bottle and a Magic Stick picked up, it's going to be really, really hard for him to run out of mana here.
Yeah. And Shadow Demon can't really get those last hits when refract is up.
Yeah.
So just being able to continuously spam that, just because Shadow Demon has to sort of spam his mana on you, is very good for the TA. It's looking good. And Batrider is doing very well versus Gyrocopter top. He's actually going a really cool build too. He's getting levels in Flame Break just because he knows that he can't Firefly over the Gyro. If he Fireflies over the Gyro, then Gyro sort of just Rocket Barrage, and he actually has kill potential on Batrider, but instead he puts points into his Flame Break, and he uses it as a super strong nuke, because you stack the extra damage to Sticky Napalm, and Flame Break already does decent damage. That nuke is hitting very hard right now.
Yeah, and he did try to push it into some creeps as well to get some bonus damage there, but nothing really paying off just yet. The Radiant tri-lane, by the way, completely lacking in EXP. Like we said, wow, they placed their 2nd sentry, and they even still didn't find the Observer Ward, or apparently they don't care about it. I mean, surely they know that it's blocked. Why would they not give it a shot? I don't know, because now they're going to split EXP 3 ways, and this Drow Ranger's still level 1. I mean, the supports, it's not as big of a deal that they're 1, because they can combo well, but...
Do you know what I think happened? I think that they had vision on the... Oh, sorry, I'll say it later.
Alright, they're going in on the Rubik. Actually, he's going to telekinesis left. Great stun, grabs all 3, and they're all going to be just fine. But it's going to cost him a decent amount of HP. Wow, those arrows do a ton of damage to the Wisp.
I mean, it's not so bad because the Wisp can tether him and salve up, so it'll only cost him 1 salve instead of 2. But if Rubik had dropped the CK back, I think they had kill potential on him.
Yeah, into the tower instead of doing the AoE stun.
And going back to what I think about the wards, I think they had vision of the Visage, and they saw that he only had 1 Obs ward place. And they saw that he never went near the camp. And because Wisp actually put down the sentry on the pole camp, so they might have been like, hey, the Visage never put that one more near our pole camp. We can just wait out that sentry and not have to waste our own sentry and just make sure they don't have a side ward and just win the lane a little bit later. I disagree with that decision. I think that they should have got the... Oh, is he going to block it? Oh, sad Leshrac.
He is not. I think he was going to check the rune spot, I guess. It's still blocked, so I guess
he body blocked it.
Okay, so he did body block it, which might even force
out
some
and he
ward.
put a ward in the sentry range.
Ooh.
Wait,
that's a Radiant ward, actually.
Oh, that's a Radiant.
Yep, they're going to be just fine.
I'm special.
So special. Using spirits to harass a little bit here. The Dire team is actually getting last hits, which is pretty significant. So Chaos Knight able to hit up to 19 CS. Drow is at 2, by the way. 2 whole CSs on the Radiant carry. So that's going to hurt him a little bit in the long run.
See, the thing is about aggressive trialing, usually you're like, hey, if you aggressive trialing, you need to get kills because their team, they have a pull. If you don't get kills, you're going to be so gimped because their supports are going to catch up with the pull. They're going to out-level you. But right now, Mineski doesn't have a pull either. They're just as gimped as the Dire, except actually they're more gimped because they have a lot of denies on the Dire right now if you just look at their count.
Even if
is 9. Yeah, sorry,
even with the EXP, it's still looking really good for the Dire supports, actually. They have
really
a level or so above.
And it's just so hard because look at the armors on the Radiant side. Like, Leshrac is the most tanky of those 3 heroes, and it's a Leshrac.
Yeah, it is not a good thing, especially when he has an unreliable stun. They're going in. They're going to get the tether. 2-second stun. Grave Chill as well. First Soul Assumption comes through, but not that much damage, surprisingly. Drow is still going to go down despite all of that, and that is first blood on the bot lane. Wisp picking up that kill. They're actually thinking about Lesh, but they're going to give up on that one and go back to farming. So not only are they getting the CS advantage down here, they're also getting the first blood and the EXP.
And I really have to attribute this just because they did not have their pull. Usually you would do okay against this trialing. It's a bit stronger than trialing. You can but you can break even with the pull. You can push the wave out so they can't contest the pull. Just pull it, you get extra EXP, and you can sort of maybe have kill potential or at least be able to fight them. Right now he's just gonna dive on this. Oh, the tether broke. I thought he was just gonna die there.
Must have ran out. 3-second stun coming through. Will they have a soul assumption? He's waiting for it. Doesn't even have to cast it. Wisp getting a 2nd kill now. 2 kills on Wisp. He's got more kills than last hits. And this tri lane is going really, really well for Vici Gaming.
And Batrider picks up a haste here. I think that's a dead Shadow Demon mid.
Yeah, we'll see. He's thinking about it. CTY is at about
his
70%
disruption
HP.
CD.
He doesn't have mana for ulti either, but he is biding his time. There is Firefly going in from the high ground. Will he spot him? CTY is really good positioning right now, and Batrider's looking all around him. Where is he going to run to? He's spotted out.
So scared. Oh,
so dead. He's going to pull him to the low ground here. A little bit of miscommunication from TA. He's going to disrupt himself, which does dodge some of the damage, but Firefly runs out. This is going to give him a little bit extra time, but even still gets killed on the mid lane. And that really nice hero counter there with Shadow Demon versus TA is just not paying off as hard as it should be.
And that was a good rotation. And again, the Reality Rift doesn't manage to stun the Rubik at bottom, so they're taking quite a bit longer to kill him than they should, but it doesn't really matter. What that does let them do is the TA was able to rotate, and he should be able to pick off this Wisp.
Wow, they're trying to. The Lightning puts him down to 9 HP, is running for it. He's going to suicide to the tower. Does split some golden EXP across them. Not the end of the world for that, but TA rotating, and she actually doesn't even, she just grabbed Meld now, by the way. Level 8, grabbed a lot of levels of early side blades to help counteract the fact that she was disadvantaged versus the ranged Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
So.
And Gyrocopter is actually sort of beating this Batrider very hard, even before the rotation. I think, I don't know about that. I think that Batrider wins the lane, but he needs to put extra levels into Sticky. So he can just, whenever Gyro's flat canning him, he can sort of just beat him back. And then if the Gyro tries to go up to you to rocket barrage you, you can sort of lane break him back, and you sort of trade mana, except you get more harassed. You're doing more damage because you have the Sticky there.
Yeah,
so I think it was sort
really
of a mistake on, and I really hate Max Firefly too.
Well, if he does get in melee range, it'll pay off decently.
He's he can heal.
There's the flame break. Oh, not the best. It pushes him back, but the napalm turn radius is great, and he's dodging a little bit. He's about to use his ulti. He doesn't even have to, actually, and that's a kill on Gyrocopter.
Great rotation by Rubik, and that was so smart, not using the ulti there as well.
I also loved how as soon as the flame break set him in motion, Gyro knew he had to commit. He just backed into the river for a second, so the rocket barrage ended, then went right back in for the kill. It was great.
That was really good play by both heroes actually. So Rubik and Batrider's gonna find an invis rune up top too. That's probably another kill. He has his ulti up. He has 3 points in his nuke, 3 points in Firefly. He's going to look for something to happen.
There is a sentry though in the mid lane.
There is a sentry in the mid lane. I think that he might want to consider. Oh, he gives it to Rubik actually to invis.
That's pretty cool. So this is going to let the support look around for any enemy heroes. He's going to the Dire jungle actually, possibly looking for Gyrocopter or any other missing carry that isn't quite on the map. It looks like Chaos Knight's still bottom. And Gyrocopter's still in base, possibly saving for a TP scroll or something. He's going to shift to the bot lane, I guess. He's got pretty good farm and decent skill points in. So
and they're looking to dive on bot here, I think.
Alright, they are going to TP in here. Tri-lane is all set up. We have the Dry Ranger playing really safe. She actually has 0 levels in Frost Arrows, 2 levels in Silence, and 2 levels in Precision. They're going for the dive. Spirits are going to give him some vision. Great Silence catches 2 actually, but it's buying them just a second. First tether stun. Call down as well. Rocket Barrage on top of the Templar Assassin. They're still diving the drought, but actually she's going to eat some tangos through, but finally does get killed. Really nice Silence to buy some time. Even Templar Assassin sitting in Viz trying to hide. Can they get vision? They're going for the Leshrac next. He throws the stun. It's going to land on top of the Chaos Knight, but a ton of burst damage takes him out. Can Templar Assassin stay alive? 4-second stuns. ESMD running for his life. He gets picked off by the Fade Bolt, but it's not quite enough. The Rocket Barrage cleans up really hard, and Gyrocopter picks up a triple kill on the bot lane.
They dove at tier 1, and they were able to just completely dominate. And what happened there, I think, is that Batrider actually cancelled his teleport scroll.
Really?
Yeah, if he had been there, he had lasso, I believe, right? Yeah, he did still have lasso. He could have turned that around, I think. So that was sort of a... I'm not too sure if he misclicked because he was actually given a 6-second TP, but you know, you need to hit those TPs. Look at the bar.
Man, even if it was a 6-second TP though, I mean, the fight, it did last quite a while, but all of these heroes, they are at no threat of dying with the exception of Chaos Knight, who did end up going down. He did have a level 4 flame break, and Wisp is still pretty squishy at this point, so maybe he could have turned something, but now Mineski's going to have to fight back against his 5-7 deficit.
And Wisp already has Arcane Boots.
That's a lot of mana.
That's a lot of mana, and that's a lot of farm on support hero so early on.
As soon as he hits 6 here, he can just do constant ganks. He is 6, by the way. He's looking for it right now. Where are they going to go to? TP to the top lane. It's going to be on Batrider. He's using Firefly immediately. Can they get the vision? They need the Reality Rift. He actually doesn't get it as the TA shows up to the top lane. They're going to counter-initiate. Io, the Wisp gets killed, so no send back here. Chaos Knight's got to run for his life. Fully TP is actually going to pop his ulti. Only 1 illusion right now. The Flame Break completely whiffs, actually, which they might have needed. Meld Strike as well, and Chaos Knight might be in trouble. Great swing on this gank, and they do actually get him. 2 dead heroes. Gyro as well, running telekinesis lift, and he does go down, and somehow they turn that into 3 kills for Mineski. Great swing
That was such an impressive rotation by Mineski. They saw the Wisp hit 6, and immediately their supports went up towards that Batrider because they knew that, hey, who are they going to gank? They're going to gank the Batrider because he's all alone all the way in the top lane. And they were able to pick up... Sorry, was that a 3-4? 3-4, I think?
They got 3 kills out of that. Nobody died. Batrider almost dead.
They even had perfect focusing. They focused on the Wisp first so that the CK can't get TP'd out, and then they kill the CK because he does a lot of damage, and they're able to just pick up the Gyro sort of as an added bonus.
That is so impressive. And Batrider now 5 assists, and he just got his Blink Dagger plus bottle. He is set for the rest of the game, more or less. Obviously would love to have a Force Staff and maybe some other boots, but he is going to start ganking the enemy carries, that is for sure. Gyrocopter has a Claymore, going to be going for a Shadow Blade, and Chaos Knight is going to be on the map a
coming
lot,
in mid.
Oh, he is going to lasso him. Other support here, Stealth Beast is left, and that's an easy kill on Shadow Demon. So that's 2 deaths on him now.
And we need to keep in mind, that's not a support Shadow Demon that's dying to that. That's a solo mid Shadow Demon.
Yeah, that is not a good thing for them. It'll be interesting to see how his play adjusts as the late game goes on. Since we're so used to Shadow Demon supports, he's almost going to have to sit at the very back and still aim for disrupting and play more of a support role than a carry or a mid role in the mid game.
The surprise factor of their picks are worked out for them because they were able to aggressive trialing and dominate that so hard. But I don't know about this sort of more carry or more farming Shadow Demon versus Batrider. Usually as a Batrider versus Shadow Demon is hard because you're like, hey, I want to grip the carry, but there's a support Shadow Demon that's going to stop me. So I have to grip the support. And
Batrider might be in trouble. 1 second stun. He's still level 7. Actually, he chose to grab his ulti instead of that, and that's going to cost him the kill. They definitely would have gotten that with another level of Chaos Ball. A double kill swing here for Rubik. And he steals Spirits, so a ton of magic damage possibility coming out of him. And again, 2 deaths on Vici Gaming that were not expected here.
Yeah, that's really poor for him. I get like it's hard. Like he got that ult at top, I believe, just to try to survive, but he ended up dying and using it. And then he didn't have Phantasm. He didn't have a level 4 stun. Even a level 4 Reality Rift would have killed that Batrider. So that's really unfortunate for him. Wisp was he also had 3 in Tether, 3 in Balls.
Oh really?
So that could have given him a damage. So that's a really unfortunate series of level up choices.
That's just the perfect demonstration of efficient skill builds, honestly. A little bit more damage there would have gotten the Batrider kill, and possibly 2 less deaths going to Vici Gaming.
And some good RNG. So.
Yeah, he did get a little. I guess we could talk about luck first, but
RNGG, as Merlini put it.
Drow Ranger, in the meantime, only level 6 at the moment, so she is quite behind. She's actually second lowest level in the game. She's equal to the Leshrac, and she picks up a 2 Wraith Bands to try to boost up the Agi as much as possible so that it can apply to her allies. Not playing as much of a hard carry role, but more of a let's buff everybody's damage, and hopefully that pays off.
And look at one thing I want to point out is look at Mineski's ward vision. They have like an entire line going across the map of just good vision, and that ward behind the top tower is actually very important because it allows them to set up a gank on that Gyrocopter who's up there farming, who is also still the net worth leader. So he's the hero that they really want to kill.
And they could do with Barrett. There's a TP coming to the top lane. It's going to be TA. Just going to contest the lane, I suppose. She has a DD picked up and a Blade of Alacrity. Are we going to see a possible Yasha out of her? Maybe a Manta style?
I think we are going to see a Blinkless TA build, which I really, really like. I think that TA can do a lot of damage, and Blink, while it's a good snowball item, if you're not finding the kills, you sort of fall off really fast with Blink Dagger. You don't farm particularly fast. It's sort of like getting a Vanguard, or like getting a Vanguard or a BKB early. It doesn't increase your farm speed, which is important on a hero that can carry.
Barrett are looking for a kill top. We have a Shadow Blade being used by Gyrocopter, but he hasn't showed yet. They probably will go on the Visage. Here comes the Blink. Blinks in. There's the Flaming Lasso. TA is right-click and actually misclicked on a creep with the Melt Strike. So the TP comes in as well. There's the stun. Are they going to be able to turn this 4-second stun? He finally got the RNG. Templar Assassin so low. Oh my gosh, he's going to be able to get another Refract off in a second. Doesn't get it off in time, so Chaos Knight finishes off the kill. Batrider running for his life. We have Shadow Demon showing up as well. Here comes the Demonic Purge on somebody. Another 4-second stun on Batrider, making up for everything. He goes down. He has finally casted on top of the Leshrac and a Disruption as well. More Shadow Poison, Soul Catcher, and can Rubik make it out of here? Here comes a stun, and that is a big swing back for Vici Gaming. They are completely still in this game.
CK Wisp.
It's pretty good when the ganks come.
Good.
And
Visage. Okay.
Yeah, those bats, man. They right-click things.
They do work. I do want to say that Zeda someday, he played fantastically that fight, but he did make one mistake and he didn't out right away when he was ported in onto that TA. The TA was able to get, I believe, did he get Melt Shake off or another Refract?
He had at least an extra second or so.
He killed someone, right? Did he kill the Wisp or?
I can't remember.
Quite remember.
He was alive for a bit. Yeah. A bit more than I thought.
So he did some extra damage, but regardless, that was an incredible fight for VG. It basically got them back into a very good position because at the very start, they're in a good position. The guy was winning top, mid.
He is going to lasso again for more gank, and it's going to be Gyrocopter this time. Silence follow-up, but he goes to miss. They do have the dust, though. Oh, slightly outside of range.
There are no ice arrows.
0 levels?
0 levels. He's maxing silence. I don't know. Frost arrows are really, really good right now. I was a big proponent of the no Frost arrow build back when Joe had our old ulti, but with this new ulti, you need Frost arrows to keep people off you, or your ulti's not going to do anything. Yeah, they will get pretty close. They're going to try to take the tier 1 tower. Vici Gaming will try to defend this. They're all pretty much full HP. Will we see the TP in? There's another trap slow. That's Chaos Knight teleport. Will he rift? He is going to go for the rift. Here comes the stun as well. Great silence actually follow up from Drow Ranger. She's going to right-click the tower. Will she be able to finish it off? It's solo, but she's going to back off. Does not want to gamble with this 31 HP, and they're using a drum charge. They want to try to kill somebody, but this is so dangerous. The enemy tower is there. We do have Batrider being dead, but he did get killed in the bot river. He got picked off there by, I believe, the Wisp and the Gyro, or... Yeah, I think it was the Wisp and the Gyro. And we're going to see a pause here. We have a disconnect from the Shadow Demon. This might hurt them a bit. He's slightly out of position. And so that actually went as well as it could have for Mineski, only losing the Batrider, getting the tower denied, and then getting their tower pushed. That's how bad of a fight that could have potentially been. Because they were going into a 5v5 without Batrider ulti. And without Batrider ulti, when you have a Drow that's that underfarmed, the fight is probably going to go pretty poorly. Especially since CK Wisp Scarrow. That's probably one of the best early mid-game team fight from any carry set.
Yeah, especially against a squishy hero like Drow, it's so easy to pick her off if she gets out of position. Even with all these strength items and early game inexpensive things she's purchased, it's just so easy to kill her if she doesn't land her silence. It all comes down to that silence if she can cast it at the appropriate time. So 13-13, if we look at the gold graphs at the moment, it's pretty up and down, but at the moment Vici Gaming has a slight advantage with 2,000 gold. And if we look at the EXP, it's going to look pretty much dead even, just about at 0. So could go both ways.
Is that sentry at bottom river not in vision of that Orb Sword?
It looks like it is. They must just not have checked.
Oh, there we go.
Around.
The birds are coming back. I was going to say, he has the birds. He doesn't really need to risk his hero to get that. He can just send a Visage Bridge because Visage is so good and can do stuff like that.
So OP, obviously.
So OP.
If you have a gem, it's really good for the stuff like that as well. But for now, it's a great thing to do with supports, man. You've got time to micro around if you're not team fighting or pulling or something like that. Just go kill wards, and you have no threat to yourself. It's kind of like how Veno used to be played, but now Veno's not popular, so he's the new Veno.
It's surprising. Veno's actually, he got picked a few times in the Western qualifiers.
Really?
So maybe we'll see a resurgence of it, and they're smoked into mid here.
Smoked and invised. Gyrocopter going to try to at least initiate, but he's level 13, 2 levels of cooldown now, does a lot of damage. But they actually backed off. They did have a sentry ward here. I think that probably did spot the gyro.
They put down the sentry ward a bit late. Oh yeah, the first sentry ward saw him, yeah.
Alright. Barrier wants to jump on somebody. It's going to be on the Shadow Team. He's looking for the initiation. A little slow, but he does grab him. Grave Chill's actually really reducing his speed. 2 seconds stun, and they're trying to trade kills. Visage really, really low. His TA guns first. She has a DD, so she's going to be wrecking face. One-shotting the bats even, so free gold there. And 2 dead heroes on the Radiant team. 3 dead on Vici Gaming, but we do see a buyback from the Shadow Demon.
Ice arrows.
Again, no Ice Arrows. Throws the silence, though. Puts Chaos Knight really low. And a
Pew
4-second
slow.
stun on TA. Oh my gosh. Again, very, very low HP on Chaos Knight, as he is going to be purchasing Armlet first. No BKB this game.
If they had Ice Arrows there, that would have been a 5-for-2 trade plus a buyback. Shadow Demon actually tried to buy back there. Not like that buyback, just because he didn't have a way of getting into that fight really fast. But I guess he felt like, I think he was like disappointed in himself or something for getting Fat Rider gripped when it was a bit slow, and he just sort of reflex bought back or something, because Shadow Demon can't really get to the fight that fast. So
Yeah,
I don't
from
agree with
tier
that
2
buyback.
tower. Yeah, definitely. He didn't really accomplish a whole lot from coming back. So on the bright side, the hero doesn't scale amazingly well in terms of a carry, and he's already got 4 staff, so it's not like he is a TA or something purchasing back. So it could be worse, but yeah, like you said, didn't really accomplish a whole lot from that buyback, other than getting a camp when he could be dead.
And that fight, like, the gyro got a really great ulti there, so I'm actually not completely sure how that went so poorly. I think it was a really good, they blew up the Shadow Demon before he got his spells off, which really helps, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely does. He was a lot out of position, sitting on the mid lane, and I guess they were hoping that the rest of the heroes would just kind of swing in and crush the rest of the team fight, but it didn't turn out. The DDTA is not exactly something that you anticipate in normal situations, especially when he goes for more of a damage build with the Yasha and the drums. His movement speed is really high base here. 414 base movement speed makes a big difference when you're going after those squishy heroes like Wisp and Visage.
He pops drums, he pops phase. He's almost max.
That's super impressive.
And you're right, the TA did have a DD, that's why the fight went so bad, I guess.
Yeah.
My bad on that.
He is going for a BKB, actually not going to finish his Manta style, just wants to pick up the Yasha for the movement and attack speed. Gyrocopter also going for a BKB, so pretty soon here, with the exception of Chaos Knight, all the typical BKBs will come out, and Drow I'm sure is doing the same thing. Yep, so BKBs all over the place. On the bright side for Mineski, they have still have a Bat Rider, so they can still counter that, but Vici Gaming can't quite say the same.
And CK does finish his armlet. He has Treads, Drums, armlet. It's such a potent combination of early game items with these heroes. They can fight early, they can farm. VG is, I don't know, they feel like they're looking at such a great spot right now, but the 5 range heroes with Drow Aura can really do some work late game.
Yeah, they're hitting for like plus 25 right now. Yeah, plus 25 damage. That's what, a free Claymore or more, if I'm not mistaken.
That's really good.
That's better than a Claymore for everybody.
It's like a Mithril Hammer. It's better than a Mithril Hammer. Drow first spec? No, not really. But it's gonna be really nice once she gets some items up. The Rubik's gonna be hitting hard. And hey,
put treads on everybody.
Treads on everyone.
Might as well. Yeah, and like we said, even though Drow Ranger isn't really doing much of a carry here, it's still applying a lot of damage. And the silence is still really useful. I actually really like silences personally. I think it's really, really strong ability. I mean, people pick up Orchid in the first place, but if you can just land that casually and it doesn't cost you 4,000 gold to farm it, and that's for 6 seconds every 13 of a team fight, that's a large percentage of time in a team fight that you could shut down one of their supports completely. Yep. So I think there's a lot of swing potential for that ability.
That it really is good. And, well, I sort of like her decision now not to get false cells after she has already max silence, max the precision ore. Perhaps the max silence was just because she thinks that she's so underfarmed that her only contribution to a fight will be the silence, but I don't know, 60% slow.
It does. That's 4 skill points to get to 60% though. I mean, that's a big investment.
It is a lot. So perhaps the Drow Ranger's doing a nice reaction to not getting anything in the bot lane here.
Yeah, we'll see. She is missing still a bunch of gold for the BKB. Did she die or buy back recently? Doesn't look like she did. No buyback from her, so.
No, I think she just has that 70 CS. She's very just underfarmed.
Yeah, 23 minutes in there. Farming the hell out of these Ancients here. And Vici Gaming actually expecting a gank themselves. They have a ward on the mid lane that's about to time out, but most of the raiding team is completely missing right now. So I guess it's that old swing of things where both teams think the other team is smoke ganking, therefore they're just going to hide in various parts of the map.
And one thing that I didn't really realize is how underfarmed the CK is. Considering how hard he dominated that bottom lane, I feel like he should have been farming a bit more with Wisp. While going for those ganks, going for those pickoffs, pushing the issue is good, you do want some items because CK can be incredibly strong late game. He's actually one of the best scaling heroes, even though we don't really see it that much because he farms slow. People play him more towards the mid game, but if you ever get a heart on him, an armlet on him, and well, I really like Skady just because it's really a lot of HP, it's a lot of damage.
And attack speed.
Yeah, the attack speed needs to go to his illusions, and like a Manta style, which also goes to illusions since it's based on endurance or on stats. He does ridiculous DPS.
Yeah, he really does. This crit is fantastic. If you guys didn't know, his ulti does 100% damage for illusions. This is very rare. Typical illusions do like 30% of your base damage, so stacking strength items on him does really make him a nice feat late game. And like we said before, he's a great hero against Drow Ranger, so even if we get late game, and he's ahead in items on her, I would say that's for sure. If we look at their net worth, compare the two, he is very slightly ahead of her by about 500, but in a one-on-one matchup, it's not even close. He's way stronger than her right now.
Joe sort of went for a BKB, which is really defensive, whereas he went for offensive items, which might even tip the scale more in his effectiveness. Joe's sort of so crippled that she needs a BK just to stay alive. One thing though is that Drow Ranger has 0 damage. She has treads and 2 Wraithbands, and she's hitting for 200 already.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, especially as she gets more levels of marksmanship. I mean, 60 agility is nothing to scoff at. It's not only 60 damage, but 60 attack speed. Yeah. It's pretty similar to like a butterfly.
Yeah.
Just with 2 skill points.
It's really strong. It gets some armor as well. It's even though it gets disabled in those team fights, it can get disabled in those team fights. It's just the start of it being on will give your aura so much more damage. You'll get a few hits off with it and more importantly, it really lets her farm fast. But we have a smoke coming. They're going to go flank these.
Yeah, I like this idea. Do they have a glyph? They do have a glyph that'll buy them 5 seconds to get in position. I think they have to go straight up the middle though, because they won't get there in time. And Vici Gaming backing up immediately. Mineski is just sitting completely together. Batrider does have a 4-step though. He's going to be looking to grab the gyrocopter. I think there he goes. Grabs gyrocopter. 4-step back. Great disruption. Oh my gosh, that reaction time was insane. He gets a BKB off cooldown as well. He's doing as much as he can. BKB from Drow, but she's hitting so low because all the enemy heroes are there. Pops the silence. Only grabs the 2 illusions though. And Templar Assassin running for his life. Reality Rift puts him in the fire. It's his ally's fire though. It doesn't matter. Shadow Demon might go down, but he grabs the Ghost Scepter so he stays alive. And now Batrider in trouble. TA is going to be coming back. There's a Reality Rift and more right clicks on the Batrider. A Chaos Knight actually dies from the high ground. That was Templar Assassin buying back. And the Tether to escape. Gyrocopter running for his life, as is the Wisp. But the Napalm slowing him by quite a bit. They're getting out of there. So a lot of buybacks actually to end up winning that team fight. That was, I'm sorry, just one buyback. That was the TA purchasing back there. Drow Ranger did end up dying for that. And she really didn't have that much of an impact that fight. Her silence ended up whiffing. Grabbed 2 illusions because she didn't know which one was the real CK, and then lost a lot of bonus damage because of the close proximity to enemies. So
I feel like that went actually very well for VG there.
Yeah, I agree.
There are a few things that happened in their favor, like forcing a buyback is pretty obvious, but they also forced 2 BKBs from the Radiant team where they only had to use 1 on the Gyro. And in my opinion, a BKB is more important on Drow Ranger and the TA just because Gyro gets his damage output so fast that 5 seconds is enough. Whereas Drow Ranger and TA, they need that sustained duration on their BKB to really dish out the damage. And honestly, the TA has so much farm right now that having that buyback was is huge. TA is the 1 row right now for Mineski, and they were able to trade their sort of like a 2-row CK, would you say? 2-row CK and some other heroes for her.
Yeah, it is going to cost them in the long run. That's going to stop her progression by about 800 gold.
That was just such a good disruption by Shadow Demon.
It was insanely fast. I mean, it's like the blink in immediately.
He had to have like, I always think that Dota is not so much about reflexes. It's if you already know what to do, you don't have to react that fast in order to do the right thing. He probably had like, well, actually, I don't know because
Might have had hotkeys ready, honestly.
I mean, think he had it
Jaro was
covered
in
over
front, and they took a really long time to push. So he's like, okay, this guy's in front. He's got the BKB. They're gonna try to kill him. Probably had it just waiting.
It was so smart, honestly.
Yeah. And another big factor of that as well is turning your body towards the hero that you want to cast on, because turn radius is actually huge and very, very small.
Especially against a 4-staff.
Yeah, exactly, because he's going to grab it and immediately get out of there. It doesn't take a lot of time. So
not only did that show like fast reflex, it just shows how smart of a player CTY is. He was able to position himself properly and just get ready, predict the future, basically.
And that got them a call down and a BKB flat cannon. It really helped.
It won them the fight. Before that fight, I was thinking, wow, this TA is going to really be hitting hard. She is really farmed. But then after that, I'm like, hey, Vici, back in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. Possibly going for a Desolator after the BKB on the Templar Assassins. So they want to be able to burst down some of those heroes. It's going to be nice for Splash.
I actually sort of disagree with this choice. I think that they would have benefited a lot more from a crit. It's a lot more damage, and they don't really have that much trouble pushing towers. As you can see, that tower drops really quickly just because the draw aura makes everyone do so much damage. It's basically like having a Luna, right? So Luna teams don't have much problems pushing towers, right clicks. I don't think a Draw Ranger team would either.
Yeah, that's true. There's a big mid push. Tier 2 tower is going to take some damage from this one if they decide to delay. This Bat Rider's looking in. Oh, great Shadow Poison from the Shadow Demon. He sees it coming. They're actually going in. Great silence on 2 heroes. That's Wisp as well as KS9. KS9's just going to go down. He dies immediately. Bat Rider trying to grab an ult against somebody, but nothing yet. Bat Rider doesn't even get to get it off. He's going to end up dying. Gemma True Sight's even on the ground. Vici trying to do his best. Great disruption. And can he get the kill on the Wisp? There's the Melt Strike, needs one more. The movement speed's going to pay off, and Wisp goes down. Is Templar Assassin going to pay for it? He's running for his life, and again, Mineski, great team fight, except for the fact that Bat Rider ended up getting picked off.
Did Gyro really live there?
Looks like it. He has very low HP.
Wow.
Eagle Song. He's almost got Butterfly. His item progression is still going, though, and that's really, really huge right now.
If TA had a crit instead of Mithril Hammer, I think that fight could have even gone better for them.
It's possible.
So, but that was still a really good fight by Mineski. I was actually going to say that VG should really turtle it out, sit behind that tier 2 tower, like quite far behind, and have the CK Wisp TP or CK Gyro TP onto that tier 2 mid and just grab free tower. You'll still get back in time to defend your tier 2. You'll trade a tier 2 mid for a tier 1 bottom, which is a very favorable trade. So I think that was a bit of a strategical blunder by VG there, but at least the Gyro survived in that fight.
Man, even against a Bat Rider, I mean, his threat of taking a hero was pretty much always ready. If Shadow Demon didn't throw the fantastic Shadow Poison, that could have swung completely different. And, I mean, if you did take the Chaos Knight Wisp mid, you have a set time. They say, okay, we have 10 seconds for sure that it's a 5v3. I mean, that could have been really dangerous regardless.
I mean, the thing is, when they TP out, VG is just going to be like, hey, let's just back up really far. You're not going to kill that tier 2 bottom in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. So that's a good point. You could back up to, like, Rax or something.
Yeah. Regardless, like, both were okay decisions. One thing that also happened at Tifa is that Dro got a really good silence. She silenced the CK before got any spells off, and they blew him up.
Yeah.
I think he died, but he didn't even get attack off. And they silenced a Wisp, so he couldn't even TP him out.
That was really fantastic.
Really good silence there.
Drow finally paying off. Still doesn't have any levels of Frost Arrows. Only gotten 1 level, actually, since we last looked at her. And she now picks up a Mask of Death so that she can probably farm a little bit more. And this is actually really important. I'm sure you guys have played some of those games where you don't pick up a lifesteal or an HP regen item, and then just when you're casually farming, you're not at max HP, and when the next team fight comes around, it actually does cost you because you won't be at full HP. So she kind of has to grab a lifesteal.
Here's a Roshan attempt by the Dire. I think they're going to get this for free.
And they do have a medallion, so they can kill it even faster if he's not using it. But there it goes. Actually, one hero checking things out. It's going to be TA. She grabs 1 bat kill for free. There is a illusion rune. ZSMJ actually wants to go in. He's looking for a reality rift. Can he grab anybody?
TA should really have a trap in there. That's one thing. I don't think they didn't have a sentry around it, so they didn't counter an O trap. They just never had a trap in there, which is really unfortunate for them because Garo now has the Aegis. He has a Butterfly. Draw Ranger is so far from an MKB. TA is so far from an MKB. Sorry, she probably should have got MKB instead of crit. What am I thinking? If Gyro's getting Butterfly, but I don't know how they're really going to be able to bring that Gyro. CTY has definitely shown that he has the reflexes or the mindset to be able to stop that Bat Rider initiate on him. So, well,
if they're going in, they're going to grab KS9. I don't think he's going to be able to pull him low ground. Oh, barely stays high ground. Flame Break actually pushes him down just in time, but they're running for their lives now. Silence on Gyrocopter. He could pop his BKB if he needs to. There's a fly cannon on Rubik. Not really that useful. We do see a Dust, though. Will he lift him? Telekinesis is gone, and that's going to be an easy kill on the support. He was going to turn, do as much damage as possible, and hopefully no more of Mineski gets caught on the retreat here.
And VG manages to pick off 1 Mineski hero. That went very well for him, but I think that could have potentially been a pick off and gotten out if the Battler had managed to get the CK down to low ground and then Joe had gone on silence off or something like that, I think Wisp actually made a blunder there. He should have, like, when Battler blinks in on the CK like that, Wisp's reaction was to tether him.
Wow. Did you see this BKB pop?
Ooh.
Templar Assassin.
Really unfortunate there that he had to. He sort of had to. The CK might have gotten him there, but still, that's another BKB charge down for the TA. I think she's at 7-second BKB, which is really getting short. But anyways, I think that if your CK gets sort of gripped like that, what you need to do is you need to TP home right away and then tether him after. Well, after the Battler has the right force staff, so your tether doesn't break, and then they can't stop you from really tethering him back to base, and there's a 0% chance that anyone gets picked off before the fight starts, and you just it's more safe.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a lot safer that way. Gyrocopter goes to the top lane, level 19 now. He's doing such a great job of keeping his farm up. Despite the game going back and forth and team fights being won and lost on both sides. He's got 246 last hits, and he by far is the biggest net worth in this game. So really impressive for him to be progressing like this. And like you said, there's a Desolator on TA. Now she's being missing 35% of the time, and that's going to make bursting down those core heroes so much harder. Like, Batrider can't even necessarily initiate on him anymore, because if they don't kill him in that 4.5 second disable, he's just going to pop BKB and he's going to wreck the team fight.
I actually feel like Mineski can't even take a 5v5 engagement right now. They're going to have to split push it out. Even if they do burst him down, what do they do when the Aegis comes back? He comes back, full HP, pops a BKB, Grip will already be down, and he's actually just going to kill everyone in those 6 flat cannon hits.
Yeah, it's not going to take a whole lot, and that's one of the other reasons Butterfly is so fantastic on him. It doesn't increase his damage by a massive amount,
and
but upping the attack speed is
drops
huge.
his gem on the courier. That's sort of cute. They de-ward and he drops a gem, or I'm not sure. It might.
He's been holding it the whole entire rest of the game ever since. Even after he lost it bot, they transferred it back to him, so that's weird.
That is sort of weird. Maybe he just thought he needed to go get a TP scroll, but no idea why.
How about the Shadow Demon here? He's got 3,300 gold. What do you think he's saving up for?
Dagon. I don't know, actually.
Wish.
Dagon's surprisingly good on Shadow Demon just because you have that soul catcher, you can burst someone down. Like,
That's
you
true.
get the Reality Rift in, you burst someone down right away. Like, it's not that published, because bursting a hero down before he gets any spells off is really good, and Merlini has pizza and I'm hungry, I'm sad.
Let's make this cast about how much we want pizza now. That's a better idea, I think. Man, the damage of Gyrocopter is so impressive. He's got his Demon Edge picked up, so most likely going to be an MKB, I'm guessing, shortly here, just in case the Draw Ranger grabs the Butterfly. I mean, it basically protects those two heroes from grabbing some of the best items for them in terms of tank and damage potential. They can... It's probably not going to ever be worth it them grabbing a Butterfly at this point. I guess it would stop Chaos Knight, but that's really about it. And only stopping the Chaos Knight and not the Gyrocopter as well just really limits their item progression.
I believe Chaos Knight has his BKB. Yes, Chaos Knight has his BKB. Oh, he does not have a BKB. That's a Eoscepter recipe.
Oh, it is.
So he has a Mithril Hammer. He almost has his
Yule's
BKB.
on Shadow Demon.
A bit slow considering how fast his start was, but like as long as VG waits for that BKB, I can't see them losing a 5v5 at all. I would have actually preferred the Gyrocopter go for a Satanic at this point. I feel like if he got a Satanic, even after the Aegis, even if he gets scripted out, I don't think that they can take him down enough that he can't just pop BKB, pop Satanic, pop his Flat Cannon, get all his attacks back, and it's basically an Aegis on a 35-second cooldown.
Well, I guess he wants to go for the damage instead. To cover himself in case they do get evasion. They could pick up something like a Talisman immediately, and that could make his job a little harder. So maybe he's just trying to hedge his bets here rather than going for that. And maybe he just doesn't expect to die. I mean, there's a Yule's Scepter now picked up on Shadow Demon. That's his item choice.
I mean,
he's going to use it on Batrider, I guess, when Batrider initiates. We've seen his fast disruptions. I assume he can do the same with Yule's.
It's honestly a pretty safe bet, because even if CTY doesn't get off the disruption, Whisk can always TP home, well, and then tether him. It's very important that you TP home first, just because if you tether then TP home, they can cancel it with a stun, just because Whisk out can get cancelled during the cast time. But no matter how far you away from them you are, you can, as long as you have the tether going, even if you're moving towards them, you can still bring them home with that OT. So getting damage, not that bad. It's not that risky. I don't know. I have this thing where, like, I always feel like if a carry gets this combination of Satanic, BKB, Butterfly, it's just, like, impossible to kill them when they're ahead. And when you're ahead, I feel like building tanky items is better than building DPS items. Yeah, because you don't really need the damage to kill them. Your team can sort of make up for it. Whereas building tanky items sort of lets you survive a team fight. It lets you keep on snowballing It's sort of a more defensive mindset, but I think that it's more safe.
Yeah, it is a lot safer. It makes it so you can't snowball as hard. If you go damage items, it's easier to snowball generally. But like you said, if you just win team fights and your core heroes don't die, you'll snowball naturally because all of a sudden there's very, very little chance of you dying at that point.
And Joel actually went for a Mask of Madness.
Really? Was this the player? One of the player cards. I saw a favorite item was Mask of Madness. I don't know if it was Yanni here, but that's pretty dangerous. If she can't stay at the end, the outside of battle, it's a great item if you don't take damage. Very cost efficient for that.
She's actually just going to die to 6 flak attacks if that's on her. That's the only
that is true
thing.
And that's definitely going to hit you. It's 1,000 range,
Yeah.
I think. It's been buffed recently.
I mean, Dro does have that 625 range. Maybe she can keep out of it, but
Maybe she'll blink to like the absolute outskirts of the battle and kill like a creep
I mean,
or something.
if your positioning is perfect, then theoretically Mask of Madness is a really good choice. And I actually really like it this game just because they need some damage. They don't have any damage right now in order to kill that gyrocopter. They're really desperate right now. Even though the score's 23-21 in their favor, VG's just in such a great spot right now.
Can we just start calling it the poor man's rapier or something like
Poor
that?
man rapier.
It's only 2,000 gold. It's a lot less expensive.
Pretty accurate actually. So
So VG's gonna back off now. Still farming. More split push from the Batrider. He actually waited top for quite a while. It seemed like.
They're basically not scared of anything right now. They don't have to press the issue. They can continue to farm it out. From this place, they have a much better late game. And as long as they're playing safe, Mineski really has no way to force the issue. Garo has now picked up that HOTD. If he gets the Satanic now, he's... I can't see him dying.
He's got 1,800 or 1,700 HP just about. Could sell his phase boost, but his items are more or less completed. Like you said, Satanic.
He doesn't even need a TP scroll just because he has that Wisp. So that's another strength of that here. I think VG is playing it safe. They're going to wait for this Roshan. If Mineski tries to contest them, they'll just go slay them in a favorable engagement, because that's a lot better than having to engage at the other team's tier 3. And once they have the Aegis, it'll probably go into CK, I'm guessing. It's going to be very, very hard for Mineski to get a defense off here.
And CK is really not scaling as well late game as Gyro is, but it's not as important at this point. He's really just going to focus on trying to disable or kill supporters, and more importantly, Drow if possible. If they can do a tether stun off of the reaction of the Batrider, it would be fantastic for them. And he's not going to have to worry about being silenced anymore now that he has BKB. So we will see him make a good impact in the next game. I'm sure he's going to love being level 16 as well, and they're going to pop a smoke gank. So they're finally ready to go fight it. They say, whatever, our Gyro is so farmed, he's got Helm of the Dominator now, so he's going to be able to keep his HP up in the team fight even without Satanic. They don't have an Aegis, but I really don't think they care that much. They're just ready to go grab somebody.
This is actually very smart. I said that they could force a favorable engagement at Roshan instead of fighting at Terry. This is an even more favorable engagement, and they're not going to take a big risk. They're going to look for engagement outside the base, which is better than Roshan engagement. Just because they're smoked up, they won't be ready for it. Mineski, even while they might be as 5-man together, you can sort of expect at this point, because Roshan's spawning so soon, they might not be able to get the angle on them. And hey, look, that's a TA.
She pops her BKB. If she had a blink, oh, she's going on the Wisp. 2 shots, almost puts her down. But Demonic Purge slowing, and Shadow Demon's going to get snagged. The one hero that has the Yules to stop that's going to be in trouble. And a 4-second stun. TA goes down. Rubik is well going to fall, and Leshrak running for his life, but all he's got is a Ghost Scepter, and that is not going to be enough here.
Guy.
Unless he pops it and it keeps him alive for a couple more seconds, he's able to throw some damage, but he goes down. More fighting going on. Wisp, they trapped the Batrider, and what is going on?
And there's a gem on the ground. I don't even think they notice it, but it doesn't even matter. And I don't know. Oh, they do notice it here, because Visage scouts it with his birds.
So 3 dead heroes. Did they lose anything there, other than cooldowns?
Nothing. And, well, yeah.
Barrow's going to buy back, I guess.
CK Wisp, good combination.
It is pretty strong. Did we even see Drow Ranger do much here? Silence on top of the Shadow Demon. One Yule Scepter, actually, this could set up a kill on her. She's going to back up with Medallion. They didn't go as hard. They just said,
I'm actually
whatever, we want
pretty
Rex.
surprised they didn't even try for that.
Yeah,
they could have at the very least forced the BKB out to dodge a Reanimator. Then
wow. They killed the Gyrocopter. The Mask of Madness actually paying off, and she removed the debuff with her BKB immediately afterwards. Pretty cool little combo there. They're chasing after him. Shadow Demon running for his life. His HP goes so low. He does have a Ghost Scepter, but it's on cooldown. The splash is going through. He's quite low. Flame Break's going to push Wisp away, and they're not done chasing yet. Pretty fast movement speed on TA, and she grabs kill. Relocate just a second too late, and that's going to cost Wisp his life for sure here.
That was... I want to say a bit of inexperience from the Wisp there, not just saving a tether so that if they do engage on them, he can save that Garo. And he also sort of TP'd that Shadow Demon back really late. Which means that they give the gem back, but apparently it's just sitting on the ground. No one likes picking up gems right there. And Roshan is actually up with 4 heroes down for VG.
Wow, so a second ago, they take a Rax. It looked really good for VG. And then VG backs up, and Mineski is able to kill 4 enemy heroes, including the gyro. I mean, the initiation was perfect there, picking off the enemy carry. And maybe they just got lucky on right clicks or something. It seemed like Drow was doing full damage when he got pulled through.
Yeah, I actually don't even know what happened. I'm surprised that VG didn't buy back a bit earlier to contest this, but they had buyback on all their heroes, I think. I don't know why they didn't just buy back. I guess they think it's risky because they buy back and they lose a fight, then... Oh, here's a...
It's a random Chaos Knight completely dead.
That's weird.
Mineski wants more advantage. I believe he was farming on the bot lane here, and Barrett was possibly jungling.
That's really far out, considering... That's just really far out.
Especially with all of his allies dead. And Roshan just went down.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what I said, I think it's very weird that they didn't buy out to contest it, but I think their thought process was that if we lose this fight and then we lose Roshan, we're actually just going to lose this game. Even though they have an Aegis, we can still actually take a team fight, and Garo, if he doesn't buy back, it's almost to his Satanic. So once he gets his Satanic, I still feel like VG is in a good spot. But hey, wow. Drow Ranger actually managed to farm an MKB.
Wow,
and he went to stats mode.
And what is TA buying?
Just got it after that
gold
last team fight. She got kills, she got Roshan gold. I'm so surprised that Drow Ranger's been able to claw her way back in this game. And the stats build, while I sort of advocated going for Frost Arrows early on, if you can actually not go stats arrows, Drow Ranger hits disgustingly hard.
Yeah, and the extra HP is always going to be great as well, just because you'd rather focus on damage items if possible. And now his item build honestly looks great. He doesn't have to worry about Butterfly anymore. They're getting MKB on their core damage dealers, including TA. And that's Demon Edge picked up.
That's plus 40 damage on the Drow Ranger aura to everyone.
For which item?
The Drow Ranger aura to everyone.
Oh yeah, that's so much damage right now.
That's a lot of damage. That Rubik hurts. Like 130 damage, that's respectable.
It's really not. It's pretty good. Double Bracer on Leshrac as well. He wants to tank up as cheaply as possible, so Mineski's still staying together. Both teams do not want to get caught with any solo heroes because it could mean a push immediately afterwards. And Gyrocopter actually has enough money for his Satanic, but I'm sure he's a little bit more worried about being able to buy back if he does get killed.
I feel like you just have to buy an item at this point.
For what reason?
Like, if they engage on the VG team and they manage to kill Garo, his entire team is dying. It doesn't matter if he has buyback if he can't get back to the fight really quickly.
Yeah.
So, and a Satanic sort of means that they can't kill him. I mean, maybe they're not confident in the Wisp teleport out or something like that, but they really shouldn't be able to burst down that Gyro even once. And here's a smoke out, and they're going to fight without the Gyro perhaps if they jump right now.
They're looking for them. The Firefly goes high ground. Who are they going to grab? He's got anybody he wants. He's actually reacting a little slowly. He does grab one person. Shadow Demon pulling him to low ground. He's taking a ton of nukes. He actually does get killed before he does anything there. ZSMJ taking right clicks from Drow Ranger, and it's looking pretty good for them. Where's the Gyro? Gyro's right clicking. Oh my gosh, the damage. He's killing a lot of people here. Even the Rubik running for his life, and Gyro was not phased in that team fight. They put everything into Shadow Demon as well as the Chaos Knight, but it wasn't enough. Wisp is going to go down at least. And Templar Assassin now running for his life. Will he turn and fight this? He is going to right-click. The splash damage is pretty good. He puts Gyro low, but not enough.
That's Mamuti. I think he could have just ran.
He is really fast. I mean, the only slow they had rockets at least. Homing missile level 4, so you could stack them.
I mean,
he could dodge though.
You can just dodge with him out, and I'm pretty sure he knows that he can outrun the Visage. So even if Visage had Dust Gem Sentries, he can get away from that. But that's 4 heroes down, and Gyro's beating on the racks.
Well, they have Drow Ranger here to maybe slow things down. 1 TP from TA.
Another
buyback,
TA
so
buyback.
That's slow down Manta or Butterfly or whatever.
And they do have 2 MKBs, which means that Gyro isn't as invincible anymore. That's really the reason I like the Satanic before the MKB, because you need to hit that timing where their carries don't have those MKBs before when you get your Satanic. That's why I think that Satanic would have been a better option, because they could have really just pushed the base with the Satanic, taking like every Rax if their carries don't have MKB and you're unkillable.
He also has a lot of money. I mean, you might as well buy it at this point when you have 8,000 gold. Just go for it. It can't be a mistake. It's not possible. You can even sell your phase for Boots of Travel. You don't have to worry about the losing the 24 damage.
One thing that really went well for VG in that fight is that Gyro actually managed to pick up an Alpha Wolf just before that fight.
Oh, so did he really?
Yeah. So he was hitting for an extra 50 damage there. It's like he had Drow, basically.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Until the wolf dies, of course. But
yeah. It took a while to die too. One thing that I would have liked to see there is that ZSMJ was actually very slow on his Reality Rift on the Batrider there. If you can manage to Reality Rift the Batrider far enough, it can actually break his ulti, because it's a displacement spell. So I would have liked that.
It did seem like kind of a slow Batrider initiation. I don't know if he was expecting their whole team to be there, but he ran pretty deep into them.
It was really weird because ZSMJ didn't manage to stun him or Reality Rift the Batrider, and he stood beside him for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they were expecting. I believe it was nighttime when that fight
it was
occurred.
nighttime, and I think like they were probably like looking at the guy, like clicking his damage, admiring him because he had Alpha Wolf on, something like that.
They're just having a nice chat about their days and stuff, rather than looking for enemy heroes. So looking like another smoke, maybe they are grouping up.
It was a very good smoke by Mineski, though. It was like sort of an unexpected timing that they would run up a ramp at night. So maybe they were trying to plan something else, do something else, or they might. Oh, that's about right.
Wow, they knew that was coming.
And I feel like they can just press the issue here. That's a 50-second CD on Batrider LT, and they really have no way of isolating this Gyro through BKB now. Whoa, Gyro just popped BKB.
Oh wow, Wisp actually TP's in here. I think that was a mistake. That's what happened. They left the gyro behind. Oh my gosh, they broke the tether, and now the team fight's going the other way. They're still fighting it though. Stun goes on top of the Batrider as well as the Reality Rift. They're going to try to finish him off, but he's running. He's going to try to teleport out. Will the Bats be able to stop him? He actually makes it all the way home. So only losing the Wisp there, and that error burns him a BKB charge.
Oh man.
And they lose a hero.
I didn't actually see it, but I think what happened was Wisp TP'd first and then wanted to tether. Because that, like, you can TP first and then tether. It's a bit faster to TP first because you don't have to look back, tether, TP. But then Gyro was like, hey, I'm going to go in. Wisp is right TPing. Let me poke my BKB, and then Wisp can't tether you anymore. Or he just got killed again, or he ran out. Stuff happens. That went surprisingly well for VG. I think if Mineski had knew that Gyro was so far away and already popped BKB, they would have just completely steamrolled VG there, but there's no real way of knowing that. So.
And their items haven't progressed a whole lot since then. Again, we saw the TA buyback, so she hasn't been able to pick anything up past the MKB. Dryranger is still at MKB as well, so.
I mean, for what it's worth, they can still kill Gyro if they can get that meld off on him and beat on him with the TA. TA and Dro actually do absurd amounts of damage right now.
He's going to grab somebody mid though. Shadow Demon Shiva's guard as well, puts him down low, and he's going to force staff down. A little surprised why Batrider did that. None of his allies were even close to that. So
yeah, that was a bit weird. I mean, it's only a 50-second CD, I guess. If the lanes push out that far, I think it was still a mistake. I feel like VG could try to make something happen here still, but it's better than just grabbing an illusion because at least Shadow Demon got a bit lower there. Well, and he's earned up as I say that, so he did, yeah.
Treads up on Leshrac now. DPS monster right here for right click.
He really is. 150 damage is respectable. It's really surprising how much supports do with just the right clicks.
Yeah. Every little amount really does pay off. The downside is, of course, they've got evasion. It's a Lincoln Sphere actually on Gyrocopter. And he has a Satanic. Where do all these items come from? Sells Shadow Blade, picks up a Lincoln's, and grabs a Satanic. Lincoln's obviously to stop the Batrider ulti.
It's pretty smart if you think about it, because now nothing goes through BKB. They can't get rid of... Oh, you can Rubik steal through BKB actually. So if they do this perfectly, then you can use Spell Steal to proc the Lincolns.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And then Batrider dodge him. But what's the chances that Rubik's going to get close enough to him without dying to just flak? I mean, he has a Ghost Scepter, but it's still really hard. Rubik's not exactly the most mobile hero. Gyro's pretty fast.
Yeah, he does have a pretty low movement speed, especially when Gyro still has phase boots and a little bit of drum movement speed from allies. It's going to be tough. As
far as I know, he actually hasn't revealed the fact that his Lincoln Sphere. So if they go in, they smoke, they fight, I believe Gyro will just ulti him and waste it in this fight.
Yeah, if they can get the Batrider ulti wasted like that, it could be a huge swing, because they should be able to kill Batrider shortly afterwards. If Batrider still doesn't have magic immunity or anything, just as Shiva's guard, so he's got a lot of physical protection, but not a whole lot towards burst stuns or anything. So it could swing the fight pretty nicely for them.
Yeah. And two players here from Mineski are probably having some connection issues. I love Lashrac's items. He just has 3 bracers. Gold Scepter.
What year is it?
It's been a while since I saw that, huh? I think that getting another drums would have been nice on him. TA actually had to sell hers, so they don't actually have drums right now, I think. And drums is just a good item. Being able to pop down in a team fight is quite a bit of DPS coming out.
And it's an extra 15 movement speed for all the heroes, just base with or without the charges, so that can make the difference sometimes. You never really know. A lot of Ghost Scepters, really good items in this game, I would say. 51-minute game, and if we look at the gold graph as well, see how close this is. Fortunately, the pause is in the way, but it's very close.
That guy was actually like stupidly farmed though. If you just
500 last hits, even 500, perfect time to pause. He's just screenshotting it. That's all he wanted
probably,
to do here.
huh? You know, something that he can actually do right now, since he has a Wisp, that I've seen before, is he can actually sell his phase boots for something like a Manta style.
He's pretty fast. Yeah, I mean, they could.
I mean, at this, like, mid-game fights, you want to be really mobile. These late-game fights, it's more like, hey, I want to be a hammer and just be able to dish out that DPS. And something like a Manta style would really help with that. Because even without phase boots, he's
going to lose, what, 55 here?
Well, he loses 55. Well, he has phase. He doesn't even have phase.
He has tether right now. That's
okay,
why
he has
so
tether on a drum, so that 55 sort of becomes what, like 80 move speed. He'll still be moving at 420.
Yeah, probably like 400. Yeah, at least. That's not bad.
With the tether on, that's
an extra damage item.
That's still fast. That's faster than any of the Radiant heroes other than TA, I believe, or TA with phase popped.
Although the damage of a treads is, or the attack speed at least of a treads is comparable to a Manta style, so it would be giving him like 15 extra damage, but and the illusions.
It's a lot. It's more attack speed. Is it more attack speed even?
Treads is 25. Manta is like about 30. I think it's like 29 or something like that.
Okay. So oh, they actually buff treads to 30. It was relatively recent. Really? Yeah, they actually buffed that. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Manta style, it's better defensively though, and you do get that plus extra to HP, extra damage, and being able to like just when they go on you, you can just Manta. It makes it harder to grip you. It makes it harder to DPS you. They don't really have a lot of AOE on the Radiant side to kill that down. They have some, but you know.
I think they're gonna spot the Barrett. They do see the Firefly, so they know which way. He actually ran by the creeps as well using Shiva's guard. He's got his TP scroll ready to go. Are they gonna be able to get him? They've used
if
spirits,
he gets out here, that's actually very good for.
He's got to know what's up. What?
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh man, he's gonna get grabbed. Disruption snags
his
him.
TD.
That was his TP, I think. It's over. He is so getting killed here, unless he can blink in 6 seconds with the call down, and he goes down. That's a gem of true sight as well. I'm really surprised he didn't escape that. They used the spirits next to his creeps. He should have seen that. They even like pulled the creeps into the jungle a bit, and he took forever to use his teleport scroll. He didn't even have to buy it side shop. He had it in his inventory.
CTY just blind poisoned him, and
is that what happened?
Yeah, he just blind poisoned him where he blinked.
But he could have TP'd.
He could have just TP'd right away. He could have blinked away from them.
Yeah.
It's weird that happened.
It's like he has Batrider map
hey, stuff happens, and
like
Batrider actually has to spend his buyback here because Roshan's coming up. So that's a really, really good pick off. It's something that I feel probably shouldn't have happened, but sometimes stuff just happens in Dota like that. Like you think, hey, I can waste a bit more of their time here. And then you're like, whoa, he just poisoned me from fog. Hey, look, I'm dead. And shit, man.
That's pretty rough at the TI3 Eastern qualifiers, that's for sure. It's be a mistake that haunts his dreams. They're actually thinking about going in mid. 4,000 gold on Gyrocopter now, and the rest of the supports are also sitting. No new item progression on Shadow Demon. See if there's anything else. So many items. Vlad's on Visage.
Something that I would really like to happen here is that they give the Wisp a little bit of space to farm buyback. He stops my items for it, because what happens if one of the carries on VG buys back or dies? Oh, here comes a...
Oh, that Yule's reaction time for CTY. He is going to be able to ulti the Batrider to keep some of the fight for just a bit, but a silence on Castle. He hasn't yet popped his BKB. There it is. Will he just take the kills? 4 seconds on a Leshrac, but a perfect Ghost Scepter activation. He still goes down regardless, and Gyrocopter is just right-clicking. Flat Cannon on cooldown for 6 seconds, but it's not even going to matter. 4 dead heroes. Rubik runs for his life. He TPs back out, and 2 buybacks on carry heroes for the raiding team. Well, so Vici is going to be able to take a free Roshan.
I was going to say if the carry dies and Wisp dies, he can buy back and TP him in, but apparently that doesn't matter because no one in VG ever dies.
Yep, just the Visage. No one cares about him.
I care.
He's got a... Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have a Rod of Atos, though. He's got a Vlad's. That's going to make his bats a little harder to kill. 5 armor and damage.
The 15 damager is also just very nice. I wonder... the supports are sort of unable to get a Vlad's on the Radiant side, which actually really hurts them. That 15% is like another 30 damage on Joe Ranger. It's another, I can't math, like 25 damage on the TA. And with the Jorah, it just really adds up. Like even the supports will hit extra hard. And hey,
and the 5 armor versus Flat Cannon.
That Rubik has phase boots.
Really? He heard your comment about being extra slow.
He needs treads. treads, so you can DPS with that draw.
Treads plus the draw aura would be really good. Overcharge on Gyrocopter is really scary. He's got 6,000 gold in the bank. Drow's trying to pull the creeps past, but the tower goes down. Melee Barracks is being pressured as well. Can they fight this? Bat Rider's on cooldown for 16 seconds, and another disconnect from CTY here on the Shadow Demon. He's got Cheese, who's got the Aegis. It's Aegis on Chaos Knight, because we both know Gyrocopter is not going to die. It's Satanic Lincoln's BKB. Like,
that's pretty
and
ridiculous.
A Butterfly. That's like 4 half-tank items, and then he's got an MKB. Not the highest damage dealer, but he's just so difficult to pick off here.
I mean, he doesn't even need that much damage. He's a Garo. And he has, like, Disruption. He has Wisp Portal. He has the CK2 tank for him. And, look at that. He did go on him, disrupted, pops BKB, takes the racks.
Doesn't even care about the opponents. Hasn't even used Flat Cannon.
Zero
He's like,
cares
I'm
given.
just going to right-click your
I
racks.
feel like he should have used Flat Cannon there when he was so close to racks, just because he could have gotten the support so low. It would be hard for sort of Mineski to find the pickoff as VG runs, which is really their sort of their best chance. Because I feel like if they just continue to farm it out, like, Wisp has buyback now. They're fighting 2 Gyros, 2 CKs, 2 Wisps, and Shadow Demon, who has been on, like, he's just been so spot on with his reactions.
Yeah, he really has.
And Visage, one of the most Imba heroes in Dota. Okay, I'm gonna stop calling him Imba because I think someone from the cast will actually think, like, they'll be new to Dota. I'm like, hey, I get to pick Visage every game, and he's sort of hard to play.
Yeah, sort of, I think, is an understatement. Got to cast 1 spell every 4 seconds, microwave birds perfectly, and, you know, not feed. Pretty tough sometimes. He is a great hero, though, and obviously seeing him play to support is always really fantastic. A lot of support items, lots of wards, things like that. And Wisp even is super farmed. Look at this. Plate mail, and a mech, and gems, and urn, and everything. He's got to be really happy with those items right now.
I really love it that they ran Wisp as the 4 instead of Visage. I feel that Wisp needs items. The longer a Wisp stays in a fight, the more he does. He just does actually so much in team fights.
Yeah.
Just because Overcharge makes your carry super strong. We actually forgot to mention, it's not even just a Lincoln's BKB, Butterfly, Satanic Arrow. It's a Lincoln's, all those items, with the Overcharge damage.
Pretty much a Spectre right now, more or less.
Yeah.
Plus damage.
Pretty much. 20%, that's a lot of extra EHP. That's, like, I don't even want to calculate the EHP right now. It's too hard.
Alright, there's the split from Chaos Knight, and they're just going to go high ground. If they just take the racks, it's pretty much over here. There's no way they can stop the counter push. BKB, no, I'm sorry, that's just Overcharge. He goes in, 4 seconds stun on the Rubik. He pops the BKB, trying to stop the TA. He's right-clicking. BKB is used. Shadow Demon trying to stay alive. Pops Ghost Scepter, and there's just not a whole lot of ways the Radiant team can stop them at this point.
Oh, here's a grip on the Garo, but immediate Eel Scepter. It actually stopped the Force Staff.
That was so good.
He cast the Eel Scepter on during Force Staff.
And Bat Rider running for his life now as VG
they're
is trying to finish off. Wow, Gyro actually does go down. He can die. It's possible. He buys back immediately, sells his boots. Going to be purchasing boots of travel and teleporting in. Hopefully grabs a safe creep. He's teleporting to the top lane, and he's back into the fight. Great stun from Leshak. He tried to stop the TP. That would have been huge, but he's not going to be able to. The mid-racks is going to go down. That's going to be Mega Creeps. Good game is called from the Radiant team. They know they can't stop it with just a TA at this point. And that's going to be game 1. Vici Gaming is going to take game 1 versus Mineski here in Group B.
I mean, at the end of the day, at least they killed the raid boss at the end, but he had reincarnate. That's sort of Imba.
Hey, it's got to feel good. We got him at least once, guys. Despite all these super Imba items, we were able to take him down. And Drow actually did kind of okay in DPS in the late game, but she just never really got the item progression
Drow actually
down.
really surprised me. Being that crippled, she did a lot of damage this game.
Yeah, she really did do a nice job.
And I just want to say, if you saw that Rubik in the team fight, he got the Ghost Scepter also. He's like, yeah, I'm wasting so much of this time. And he got 4 seconds stun, and he waited the entire 4 second stun, just sitting there waiting for a Gyro to hit him. That's probably the most depressing feeling. Waiting to die.
Better for him to take the damage
than
one of his allies. So pretty impressive game from Vici Gaming, but a lot closer than we were expecting. A lot of weird heroes and back and forth play. Ganks going all over the place, and a great way to start off the series. So yeah, how did you guys think over on the desk?
Wow, CK Wisp, what a game. They win. And I think one thing that was really important was just Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger, a hero that we don't see often, and most of the time she actually ends games very, very early. And she's very, very good in push lineups. That Precision Aura that Purge and Aoi were talking about most of the game, that thing just absolutely crushes towers if you ever get the chance to push. But they were just, from the get-go, very, very defensive. The triple lane lost out pretty heavily, I must say. Drow Ranger unable to get any sort of CS, and she was forced into this sort of just like comeback build where very defensive BKB first and then precision aura and silence. But late game, she doesn't have any AoE. How are you going to stop the illusions? You have TA, very single target focused hero, and Drow, another single focused target hero, and just they didn't have enough damage to deal with the
what went for Mask of Madness. Problem is, Flat Cannon's still splashing through. No matter who you're focusing, no matter where you are, the Flat Cannon's going to be hitting you with that 1000 AoE. Took too much damage in the fights. Mask of Madness is not going to help you there. And I actually think I showed a few times the stats on Drow Ranger. That's twice now where she just doesn't win many games past 30 minutes. That drops her record, I believe, to 1-6 in a game over 35 minutes.
Right.
And that hero on the flip side is, I think, 10-1 in games that are less than 35 minutes. So
yeah, I think she works really well in like Chen push strategies or anything like that where you can just have all the breathing room you want. But it's just really hard to fit her in that sort of lineup. But I mean, I think they had the right idea. They're okay. We're going to try and win all 3 lanes. Bat should win his. TA should win his, and we can try and just eke out maybe a wash on bottom, and then just start taking out towers around the place and just force them to 5-man, where CK is actually not that strong at. But they had way too many items up on the gyrocopter, but it was still a very close game. Mineski gave them a very good run for their money, I must say.
I thought Vici Gaming was going to come out a little faster and hotter out of the gate than that. To be honest, I felt Mineski played well. Jay in particular on the Bat Rider, even early game we saw, saved his lasso, didn't use it to get that kill, was able to set up additional kills. I think he had like an 11-minute blink or a 12-minute blink as an off-lane Bat Rider. That's really good. Problem was, their lineup just wasn't built to go late against CK Wisp, a gyro who got that amount of farm. They were never going to take it late unless Vici Gaming made some big mistakes. So guys, that wraps it up for game 1, but of course this is a best of 3. The last Pinoy hope is Mineski. They are in Group B, locked in it with Vici Gaming. Now they drop to 0-1 in the best of 3. If they lose this match, they'll be done until tomorrow. If Vici Gaming, however, lose this game, then we'll go to a deciding game 3. It's a best of 3. Coming up next will be game 2. Stay tuned for that.